Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week where we've done the same episode for the last three in a row. Basically, time's up for the manager again at Rangers. We saw yesterday a capitulation, just an absolute riot of a performance for Rangers that isn't all too common to performances we've seen really all season under Philippe Clement, and it's fans have lost their patience with the direction the club is going because there is no direction, there's no identity or play. Clement doesn't seem like a guy that would get these players up and ready for games away at Kilmarnock, and it's just a sobering kind of reality that we're living in with Rangers not really looking like the club that we all love and adore at the moment. It's really sad to how this has played out over the years, and I'm not just saying it's happened in the last 6 months or whatever. This has been like slowly happening for years, and there is also the argument: can you afford to get rid of another manager? Probably not. We probably can't get afford to actually get rid of Clement and pay off his staff after we gave him a nice wage increase and a contract extension at the start of the season. Which again, you look back at that time and think, right, what was the situation there? There obviously could be loopholes and stuff if he has to leave the club, but it's going to be for me anyway. For you, it feels like Clement's time is up. It feels like yesterday's game was just the end. It was like similar to when Gio we get beat off. Who did we get beat off again? Was it St Johnston or St
St.
Mirren or something?
Mirren. I was St.
It
Mirren,
it
mate.
was like the same kind of play. It was like the same boring, just hoofball football that we
Well,
just
listen, that's been his whole time here. I've not in name one game where we've actually dominated, where you actually see a style of play, you actually see something for the team. This guy, as I say,
you could probably
he's
count
getting
your one hand how many times I've saw that. That's the issue in it.
well. That is definitely, but it's up, mate. It's time's up, man. That was dog pish that yesterday. That was absolutely brutal to watch. And I know you can say it, give credit to Kilmarnock, as I say, they were a team. They play for, you can tell they play for each other. They've got a manager who has a style of play, he knows what he wants to do, versus us who it just feels like we're just winging it. Just see what happens when we
We're
get out
just
there kind
chucking
of
11 players on the pitch and try to hope for the best. That is
best.
really all we're doing. But like yesterday was no different to what we've saw really all season. The fact is we just get punished for it this time. I think to even the game at Motherwell at Hampden, the very start of the season, we just get through that game 2-1. Motherwell really did ramp up the pressure on us to the end of the game, and we were lucky to get out there with the 3 points. Hibs a couple of weeks ago, really lucky to even win the game at home. Dundee United, the only away goal we've scored in the league this season, won us the game. We were really lucky to go out there with a
Yeah,
win. And it's games we're not dominating, as you say. We're just showing up, hoping that somebody will take ownership of
step
the
up.
game and step up and scores a goal. Like there's no creativity in the squad. There's no identity. There's
Uh,
no leaders. There's nothing.
there's genuinely nothing in this team at all. I mean, as you touched on there, the wide men don't even create it. They don't even get you excited. You know what I mean? It's that bad that everyone's calling back for Ryan Kent. I mean,
It's,
come on, you know what I mean? Everyone's saying, "Oh, well, he'd be a better option than what we've got right now." I can't believe, man. I feel like I come on here and say the same stuff, but all the time now. It's shambolic. I mean, even his interview after the game to sort of hang me Butland out a bit, and then obviously the Dutch boy as well. For me, any top manager takes the blame himself and goes, "You know what? That's my fault today. I didn't get these players up. We had plenty of time." I don't
that
feel
that
like
to me then seems like a guy that's working his way out of the
you
club,
could,
really.
but you could see in the interview, if you watch the Sky one, you could tell with his face. He knows the writing's on the wall, man. Soon you've lost everybody now. There wasn't just half of the fan base. You've lost everyone now. For me, and yeah, it's time for me. It's time to go, as we all say. But it's even on the park. I mean, no, I mean you've got this guy up here. He's supposed to be the leader in that. We've gone in that 1,000 times. I'm not doing it again. But I mean, nothing for him. It's
Aye.
sad when, as I say, when Rangers TV are doing interviews and stuff like that, and Balogun's the only one that comes out and goes, "We've made our bed, we have to lie in it." Balogun's the one that seems like more of a leader than your captain, James Tavernier. I mean, where do you even start with this team? I mean, Diomande, I'm
Like
really
starting
concerned
for
with
the
the,
start before this game even
well,
started, this was the best team that we could put out. Like,
oh,
think about that for a second. That is the best team we can
it's,
offer at the moment with
um,
injuries and the way we've managed this squad this season. We'll start for the top. We'll start for Butland. I mean, Butland. again, another defensive brain fart in the first 10, 15 minutes where he had to make an absolute wonder save to obviously cover for Robin Proper.
Oh,
And obviously at the goal, I don't really, I don't like Clement coming out and scapegoating Jack Butland. Really, I think that's poor for him, and I think it might even be a knockback at when Butland at the Leon game kind of
aye,
criticised him a wee bit, and I don't know if he's maybe giving him something back there, but I thought that was poor
but
for Clement.
that's not what you want for your manager. But you would want your manager maybe to pull him aside in the training ground, and do you know what I mean? Not to do it publicly like that. I mean, I don't know what Butland can do really when what's in front of him. Personally, for me, I know people are bigging up Shooter because he get man in a match against Portugal, but this is where it really matters, mate. I don't really
Suter
care
is
what
a
player.
backs to the wall defender. Like that's why he'll
Ah,
succeed with Scotland against
Scotland.
Portugal because he just has to sit back and defend. When it comes to him being our main ball playing centre half, he's had a decent season to be fair to him, Suter, but he's always got mistakes in him. When he's the guy that has to obviously occupy the high line, he has to be the guy that has to play the ball out and get us moving when they're trying to play out for the back. That's when you kind of see the the John Suter that I don't think you'll see for
I listen.
Scotland really.
No, I just for me personally, I don't rate both centre halves. I don't think they're better than what we had. I mean, obviously Connor Goldson, it was time for him to go, but when you really look on it, are these two any better?
We've basically brung in somebody, in my opinion, who's worse than Ben Davies. Robin Proper is one of the weakest central
He's
defenders I've ever seen for Rangers. He's so weak, he's so slow. When he's got the ball at his feet, he just doesn't know. Again, maybe players aren't moving for him or whatever, but he's so he's really,
as
really poor.
as I said, he gives me Hollander vibes. He really does.
I
I
think
just as I said,
a bit of a shame for Hollander being in the same
well,
category as
he
Proper as
does, but
well.
do you know what I mean? Because I tell you what, as I said, this guy will probably have a decent game, maybe once in a blue moon. Also, Hollander was decent, but he still had, as I said, I used to call him Bambi on ice. He would be all over the place half the time. I just, as I say, I don't rate any of the two of the centre halves, and I don't think they're better than what we've had. Which
I think it's actually quite depressing that that's their options at centre half, to be honest with
uh,
you. I think John Souttar, I don't mind him again as an option. I think he's had a decent season, but when he's costing you goals like that, when he's not using his brain to defend in the last 5 minutes, it's just what are you up against at that point? I thought obviously Proper played on through his first kind of injury where he should have scored at the post as well. And I obviously then ended up getting injured as well. We covering defensively. So again, you're going to be down to the
Hollander
bare
vibes.
bones there as well.
Uh,
Uh,
I, I mean, is there even a point talking about Tavernier?
there's not because it's the same performance every week now. So I we can just skip over him. It's just if you want to hear about Tavernier, go and watch every other episode we've done this season. Yefty, I was a bit disappointed in Yefty yesterday. He's been one of the kind of high points for me this season so far. I think again he gets forward really well, but I don't know if it was the pitch or something with him because he just didn't look comfortable in the ball at all. He was making the wrong decisions all the time. Um, but for me, again, one of the only kind of people, there's nobody that's a pass mark in this game, but he's one of the only guys you can kind of look at and think, right, for a team that actually plays a style of football, he could be very valuable for us, and he has been this season. So, he was poor by his standards so far, but I expect a lot more for him in the future.
Absolutely. I'm not going to use the park as an excuse because we knew where we were going and what have you. I just wasn't at it. Nobody was at it at all. And as we say, there was a chance to claw some points back and what have you. And if you're a Rangers player and you're no arsed, that to me is just disgusting. I mean, you should be like, right, out here, let's go. Just the basics of the game, I thought this whole entire team struggled with. Do you know what I mean? Like just
Aye,
to fight for the badge, but opposite of Kilmarnock, where they were playing for each other, they were in it, they knew what to do. These lot were clueless, and they were blaming each other first. You know, it's I mean the middle of the park. I mean Mandy's I was about to touch on that. I just 4 million.
he's been. I get absolutely tore apart at the start of the season with saying he's been non-existent for pretty much all the games so far. He does nothing. He literally just
Nothing.
does absolutely nothing. He's just there. It's like Kieran Dowell, but he's like African. That is what it is.
Well, that well.
Kieran
I
Dowell
mean,
does the exact same as Diomande when he comes on. They both do nothing.
Well, I mean, Dow was on, he was doing fancies. You know what I mean? That sort of end of the game when you're playing FIFA, do you know what I mean? You're just,
Aye, when
aye,
you know you're getting beat anyway, so
aye. You're just lavishing me scouts. I mean, I was shocked that nobody was having a go at him when he lost the ball where he did, obviously nearly costing us a goal.
that just didn't even feel
I,
real to me. It just
how is
felt
no,
like, what is
how is
happening
nobody
here?
screaming at him? How is nobody screaming at him? There for me, like, what are
Nah,
you doing?
nah, you get
I
very
mean,
caught in the ball. He nearly gave a goal away. Just doesn't really do anything in an attacking standpoint. He does a nice couple of turns and body movements and stuff like that. And I
I
do
just think
think in a
there's,
better system, you'll get more out of Diomande. But the way Clement is playing him now is just, he offers absolutely nothing to you.
I mean, even if you go into probably our best player so far this season, Connor Barron. Yeah, again, another one that wasn't really.
Nah,
I
he
don't.
didn't. Like, when he even plays bad this season, it's bad.
It's
And
ridiculous.
the middle of the park was just non-existent. You're looking for guys to ping passes through and create for these forward guys that we have, but they're not really doing much. I think the issue for me with Barron is as well, he just looks back too often. He's not really trying to go forward with the ball. And I think when
Uh,
you've got Diomande who's just kind of skating about,
there,
doing nothing, he's just it becomes an uphill task in the middle of the park. And especially when you've got Tom Lawrence performing like that, that was embarrassing for him.
he
Especially
just
when
wanted
he's
this.
been the kind of guy that's popped up in these tight games and got us a goal in recent weeks. Like he
Mm.
was he was shocking yesterday. He was just everything. You could say that about everything in the pitch again, but nothing came after him. The only thing he actually get involved in was a fucking scrap with Matty
No,
Kenny.
I
That was
mean,
it. That's all I can remember Tom Lawrence doing.
I mean, just tells you, but then it, you know what I mean. When you want to scrap with everybody, it's just, as you say, these are usually the games where maybe you get the 1-0 win. You know what I mean? Lawrence, maybe cheeky one, but nah, none of these players at all for me. And I mean, I'm Cherny. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about that guy because he's a waste of a jersey. Honestly, I'm sort of done with people trying to hype up these players. Like, there's nothing there to hype up. You know what I mean? They're
Nah,
just,
I thought again what we saw after the St Johnstone game was a very kind of honest interview for Czerny, being like, right,
yeah,
I've had a couple of tough weeks. He scored a couple of goals. He's won us the game. Let's hope he can get better. And I'm totally behind that mindset. See,
absolutely.
when you're not a robotic footballer and you actually care about putting in a performance and improving, like I'm 100% behind you. I thought in the first half he had a couple of decent moments as well, but he's just no quality with the ball. And that lets us down because he's our only right winger, really. You're now looking down the pecking order and thinking that Ross McCaw's under some, which it's clear that he's not good enough to start for us. So it'll be Tierney for this foreseeable. He had a really poor game yesterday, like everybody, and so did Bayrami. Like just absolutely nothing came off for him. He couldn't get around a man. He had an opportunity that he probably should have done better with in the start of the second half, where he blazed it over the bar. Again, I like the qualities that he has. He's going to be an important player for us this season if we are to do anything, but it's getting him in the middle of the pitch that to me
I get him
is
in
the
his,
main thing.
I get him in his get him in his natural position. I mean, it doesn't really help when you've got a stick of wood up front, does it? I mean,
That is probably
came
one of
on
the
here.
worst performances I've ever seen in my life.
I've come on here and I've tried to, you know what, instead of being negative the way everyone else is with Dessers, I've tried to highlight maybe some positive attributes about him, but you can't highlight that. You can't say anything positive about Dessers now, really, for me. That, as you say, probably one of the worst performances. I just, I can't believe that this is actual our team now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not any better than what we've had. Um,
And I
I
just
don't know.
think I was thinking yesterday, and it's very rich coming for me because if you've watched the podcasts for years and years, I was just like, imagine we had a guy like Scott Arfield to come off the bench now. Like that's what I
Aye.
was thinking watching that game. We've got like nobody like that in the team that
No.
you could rely on to come on and definitely improve the standards that were there. Even if we were playing poor against a team like that, obviously a couple of years ago, you've got you've got guys to come on. You had that Kemar Roof, you had the Arfield, you had actual quality coming off the bench. Whereas now you're looking at like obviously Hamza Igman is a guy that's hopefully going to improve, and he done all right when he came on. He was unlucky, obviously not to score, but you're looking at Kieran Dow and You've still obviously got Leon Balogun there, no issue with Leon Balogun whatsoever, but he's now going to be our starting centre half again. Like it's just we've never actually like improved on anything. We've just completely
Nah.
regressed from where we were like a couple of years ago when that Tom Lawrence position was occupied by Joe Aribo. Up front, we had Cyril Des no up front, sorry, in place of Cyril Dessers, we had Alfredo Morelos, we had
Uh,
Jermaine Defoe. We had actual players that were deserving to play for Rangers and actually felt like they wanted to be here. Every time
mm.
Cyril Dessers gets the ball, he's near enough on the deck. He's never in the right position. Like the one where Tavernier obviously does really well, gets to the byline, crosses in. He's sitting waiting at the back post. Like, why are you not gambling and like
I
try to be
even
a striker and score a goal? Like, he's just so like annoying to watch. And we've both been quite patient with him at times. We've obviously wrote him off at times as well, but obviously last season he had a good bit of form, scored a lot of goals. Well, all right, maybe this guy is more than what we see at face value, but
you
he's
try
not
and
good
do that
enough
to
to play
yourself
for Rangers.
because you there's nobody else. So you're just in the mindset of you have to back this because there's nobody else. There isn't
Yeah.
there's this is the best team we've got this season. There's nobody else. Maybe you put Hadji in for Lawrence or whatever you or wherever you want to play him, but
Well, there you
there's
go.
no
That's just their luck as well. Hadji comes back and just gets sent off as well. So,
then you know what I mean. I
uh,
definitely think the left side is more likable than anywhere else in the team. As I say, the Brazilian boy, what have you, Dave?
I know. I think you can definitely you've got
But
potential with doing something down the left hand side, but that right hand side won't change until
no,
Tavernier's
it's
out the team. Like, and obviously
well,
you've
there
got
you
Czerny
go.
there as well. So
I was thinking about the Dutch boy. Did he not have a decent wee spell there
actually,
when he
you
was
get
on the
two assists
international?
away with the
Listen,
under
but
21s.
he
Like,
won't. That's the problem here. This guy doesn't care about the club. He cares about his, you know what I mean, playing and because if he cared about the club, I think he would hold his hands up and he would say, "Do you know what? No, I should be dropped because I've not been good enough. I've not been at the levels that I used to be at. I should be
I
dropped."
think
That's
that's what the whole thing is now. We not even Tavernier, but Clement in general. He's so stubborn to make any changes to his lineup. But look at that team there, right? That team would benefit for maybe just being more compact in the middle of the pitch, pushing Bayrami just behind Dessers, trying not to play wide all the time when we've not got the players to do it. Try and like juggle about the formation. I know a manager won't want to change his tactics every single game, but Clement doesn't have tactics that you can look at and easily identify. He's not got the players to play this way that he wants to play. He's got players that, as I say, can play a more compact formation, and it might not be what we want to do for now, but I just don't understand why he keeps just trying to write, oh, we've not got a left winger, so let's just try and play by Rami there. Oh, like it's just very, very silly to me. You're just plugging players into positions they're not at their best in, and I think you could do a lot more by actually taking a look at the players that you've got fit and available, and actually try and make it more exciting to watch. I mean, yesterday's performance to me is one of the worst and most boring, lackluster performances I've seen for Rangers in all my life. Like it was unbelievable how bad we were.
up there
Like
with that. See, that's a Johnston 1-0 game.
where Gio just made no subs and he was like, ah, well,
Aye,
3 points,
fuck
let's
it.
go home.
Aye,
At least they won
aye.
the game, right enough. But
Um, he's up there.
I,
I just listen. I think about when this guy came in, and you looked at him, you thought he'll take nothing. He'll take no shit off these players, and he's quite the opposite. I think he's a soft Donny. I think he's showing no. I thought he would show a bit of balls. I thought he would have dropped somebody like Tavernier. I thought he would have been a kind of guy, but no, this is my team now, and I'm going to bring in. He's done for me. He's done none of that. Everton, I
well,
thought he would have been. He's been the opposite. I mean, coming out and still trying to use the excuse saying new players in the month that you
honestly,
said we were going to
see when he
see.
said that, man.
But to say that in the month where you said we would see the best out of this Rangers team is an absolute joke, and
Aye, well,
that's what
that's
to
it.
say.
That's it. See that.
And
See if in the next month we don't see the best Rangers, then surely he's not met his targets and he has to be removed from his position. Then that's the only way that
but
a football
but the
club would
problem
function,
is there's
really.
nobody there's nobody above to actually remove
That
him.
that is maybe
You know what I
why
mean?
he'll get time because there's nobody above that's actually the top of the club is an absolute riot. That's a video on its own. We've spoke about it all season. Everybody knows the situation we are at the top end of the club. It's just an absolute riot. You've now got Clement, who is under fire and probably going to want a way out of the club and has to be out the club for me now. Because when you think about it, we're still in all the competitions. We're still there. We're fighting, and we can claw back points in the league. If he gets up to that Aberdeen game, and we most likely are going to get beat, we're now 9 points behind Aberdeen. Like, if the board are going to sack him, that is when it will be for me. I think he'll get the next couple
I
of games, and that Aberdeen game, if we get beat, that'll be him.
I think, as I said to you, I can't see it. I just think he'll get up to the January Old Firm or whatever you're in about that
Because
kind of
I,
time.
I
I
I
just
just think the fan pressure is going to get far too much.
no, I agree.
Because
I 100%
and I
agree.
think the
But
board will be forced to react. And you know the way they've reacted every single time that's came to this, they've removed the manager without doing
well,
anything to obviously toughen up their bargain up the top end of the board and stuff. Like, that's how they feel that they'll get the fans back on side. If they, what we want obviously is Clement to leave. What we want him to be sacked, but that's not taking away from the board and everything else that needs to be repaired at this club. But we are an absolute shit show, and the fact that they think they're going to get money off like fans and like people that don't have season tickets to go onto my Myers and buy a membership and then buy tickets for a game where you're going to be served up absolute like a crock of shite. Like,
but as we say, mate, there's too many also happy clappers and what have you, and I think people will still probably do that. I just, as I say, you look at where we were this time last year, and we're still sort of
nah,
in
we've
that
not improved.
position.
We haven't
We've not
improved at
improved
all.
at all. As I say, I won't have that Bale get sacked for less. Bale caused a large majority of the mess. I think at least for Clement, he has won a cup. He did claw us back a bit into a bit of a title push, but obviously we failed in that end. And I think for that sort of kind of point there, to
And that's when it
that's
was
where I felt
probably the
like it's.
Dundee away game, like at the
I
end
think
of
that's where
last
it's.
season. So
But I just for me, he he's got obviously got to go. But I just think the position that obviously we're at the top end, I can't see. I just think about what obviously Graham Souness said as well. There's no real football men at the top. There's no men that really like thing with the game. So
that's kind of my thinking behind it. I think it's obviously it's came to this point where Clement has not shown anything. Where we're going to improve with another transfer window, with more coaches in when the club gets in a better state. Like, it doesn't really seem that he's the guy that to lead us forward because he doesn't play an attractive brand of football. He plays football that's the exact same as like St Johnstone. It's just hoof it up to debtors who can't hold up the ball and hope for the best and hit as many crosses into the box, and it's just so turgid and boring to watch. And I think if you saw signs of what we were trying to do, like under Steven Gerrard, where it was like it wasn't plain sailing, we would get beaten games
no.
like this, but you were like, right, we're going in the direction we want Rangers Football Club to go in. Under Clement, we're going nowhere. We are just flat as anything. The team that we've got to offer up, I do feel that we've got some good players in there that are being poorly coached, and I think again, one
Well,
of the main things that you're looking for if you're looking for a new coach is a guy who values the performance as heavy as the result.
yes.
Clement wants to just win the game. That is it. He doesn't want the team to play well. He doesn't want his style of play to show through. He just wants the result. Same with Gio. It was the same with Bale. Like, we need a guy that's obsessed with how we play because I'd rather go and watch his Ibrox win 6-4 against Hibs than just struggle to beat them 1-0. Like, I want to be excited when I watch Rangers, and we're not getting anything like that now. And I think if Clement stays in his position, well, obviously he's not going to get sacked now. It would have probably been this morning if anything had to happen. We're going into a Europa League game with Steaua Bucharest at home where they've said we are resting all our team and we're playing our second team because we're more focused on the league. I think that is also a pretty damning state to be in. And I think Clement at the moment for me is really on thin ice because um, he had the support of the fans. I thought everybody was behind him because of the way the club's been run. He's been dealt a really harsh hand by the board and stuff. He had to work with what he's got, but he's not doing anything with these players. Like, there is no style of play, there is no identity, and I don't feel it will
Eh,
get any better under him.
No, I completely agree as well. But the players as well, yet again, we have to say it. They need to, they're the
Oh, they
ones
need to
that are
take a look at themselves, aye.
themselves because, yeah, again, that's another manager. And a couple of these boys are still here where they're not playing well. I personally feel like they're not playing, obviously not playing for them. I think there's been a maybe a divide or what have you. I don't know. It's just,
It feels
uh,
like that way. It felt like a really just obviously this has been coming as we've said.
compared
It
to
just
when he
felt really. like
Just to compare
depressing
to, as I say,
yesterday.
as you say, when he came in and really brought the fans together, it felt like, right, this is maybe the guy to get us going here. But I just, yet again, some of the players that are still there, and you think that's another manager that they've let down. I don't know. I mean,
I know
it's,
that's the thing.
it's,
Tavernier will be sitting here, and that's what. How many managers has he had at Rangers now? Where he's still the captain, where he's
but
still
that's what I'm
playing every
saying.
game.
I know. And it's the manager's fault, no his fault for the way he plays and what have you. As I say, he should have been. We all know he should have been sold, and I'm not having it, man. I just can't do this anymore with the same players. You know what I mean? And not
Aye,
half. I just think the quality, as you said, with highlighted there, some of the quality we've had to what we've got now, night and day, night and
aye.
day.
So we all knew
Just
it
the
was going to be a
basics.
process with the players that we're able to get this summer. Obviously, we were tight on the budget and stuff, and obviously we done what we could in the window. That's fine, whatever. But Clement has to then make that work. He can't just make it an excuse all the time. Like, oh, it's new players. It's their first time playing at Kilmarnock. Like, really? There's
And
professional football players that play for Rangers. Like,
that's what I'm saying. That's something I expect for like a Bill. I thought Clement would be the kind of guy to be like, no, do you know what, mate? That was on me. My team didn't play the way that I wanted him to. I thought he would take responsibility himself. He did to be saying all the stuff he's saying. He's been the opposite of personally what I believed he was. And I mean everything that you said that you want to see sounds like the obviously at the time was it Kevin Musk? It sounded like should have gone for him.
exactly. Like, that's the issue for me at the
Um,
time as well. It was I wanted somebody that could steady the ship, but also had a clear way of playing. And I think we obviously saw warning signs from Monaco fans and stuff that said, right, come on, as a Diddy, and he's turned out to be a Diddy so far this season. But I just don't think it's going to improve with him at the helm, and it's annoying to have to make another video like this because it's another manager that's going to be leaving the club, and it's just feels like every single time at this point of the year we're clawing back points. We've already been pumped off Celtic. Nobody cares about Europe anymore, and the manager's about to leave. But this season we're in more of a mess because there's nobody actually at the club anymore to make big decisions. So if you don't laugh, you'll cry. It's honestly such a bad state to be in. We're one of the worst run football clubs, I think, in all of Europe, and we probably play like the most boring, bland football in all of Europe as well. So
and we have probably one of the best support in all of Europe, all of the
I know
world.
that's the thing.
And
If the fans
it's
weren't there, man, oof.
it's just to me it's crazy like when TNT and that or whatever have released a video like McCoist and Ferguson talking about like standards and everything, and all that kind of stuff, and then you look at the club now. There's no standards. There's no nothing. It's just people getting fat and greedy on the money for the fans. I just still can't believe that we made a European final and all that kind of stuff and everything that came with that, and then Champions League. And there's apparently no money at the club. Where does all that kind of money go? Do you know? Like, I would
It's
love to.
just it's so much mismanagement, as you say, so much greed probably for guys at the club and stuff. And the quicker the club gets sold to better people, then
It's
aye,
that
the
Rocky.
better.
Let's get on this, mate. You want to buy a deal?
Aye, honestly, you could go on about it all day, but we have got another game that Clement is going to be the manager of. Back in Europa League action, as we said. Stoya Bucharest are going to be coming here with their second string team, really. So if we can't beat them, then aye,
That's how bad we are, man.
that's how bad we end up being. But I think there has to be wholesale changes to the lineup. I think Butland and Tavernier are still going to start regardless, right? Let's be honest. I think Suter obviously will start alongside Balogun. Properly, it looked like a bad injury. I'd rather probably have Balogun playing anyway. Casemiro at left back because I would rather Yefte was pushed forward because I really can't watch Tom Lawrence play anymore. I want to see Bayrami in his actual position. Um, Barron and Raskin in the middle of the park. I thought Raskin had a really good game against St Johnstone. He was just dropped for no reason yesterday. Like, don't really understand that one. I would like to see the two of them starting. Obviously, Czerny's your only proper option out there. As I say, the front three excites me a bit more. Yefty can get forward. He can actually use his pace to cause teams issues. I think I've liked him at left back so far, but with what you've got to work with, I stick him forward for another game again. We obviously seen the benefits of that when he at the very start of the season. So And then Hamza Igman, he definitely deserves to start and he has to start. See if I
Yeah.
see Cyril Dessers starting that game, I'm away to the pub. I'm done.
Nah, listen, I don't really care who plays there, to be honest with you. I just think about the young lads. They were another ones that Clement was being like, oh, youth and all this kind of stuff, and what what they've been talking about as well. Oh, we need to get the academy more transition into the first team. I mean, I seen a tweet obviously, but you do think of somebody like Alex Lowry watching somebody like Dowell come on, and you must think to yourself that what do you actually need to do to get a start? You know what I mean? That was a
But then you're
even,
even looking on the bench. Cole McKinnon was on the bench yesterday. Like, why is he not getting a chance? Like, I know it's a hard game to throw a young guy into, but you're
but
playing
that's
for
where they learn.
Rangers.
They're playing.
Like,
That's the games. It's really you're going to learn young. Sorry, learn about your young players by just throwing them in the deep end and sink or swim. That's where you're going to learn about them. I mean, personally, for me, I'd rather you just played a Cole McKinnon or whoever in this kind of game
I'd
because I
rather
mean,
see McKinnon coming on than Dow. Like, for
I
example,
mean,
that I don't know why McKinnon's bail. I don't think he's even came on at all. He's been on the bench near enough every game, but just never gets a chance.
when,
And
when was the last time you seen him? What Benfica was it? That's the last time I can really.
I mean, he was happy to throw him on at Benfica away. Like, these guys need game time. Like we saw the benefits of giving McCausland chances. He obviously he's developed into a decent enough squad player for us. Why can't the same happen for like guys like Lowry and McKinnon? We need midfielders. We need guys that are actually willing to battle for the badge. So why not look down to some of your youth guys, some of the guys that are coming through the academy and give them an opportunity. If they end up being shite, so be it. But we'll never actually seen them play games for us, so we will just never know.
I mean, you
But
even think about it at the time as well. Like, even when Patterson was coming through, man, and it was obvious Tav should have been dropped and Patterson should, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know, man. I just don't think the young guys get a fair shake or they get a chance at all, really. They don't really get a chance to come on and step on and show. I mean, that's a game, like games like obviously yesterday and stuff. That is a game for me personally. Do you know what? What have I got to lose? Throw the young boys on, see what happens.
that was maybe the fact that kind of got me as well. There was not a reaction after the goal really either. It was like
Nah,
usually the
all
manager. I think we used
that's
all our
it.
subs as well at that point, right? But I mean, like it was still the same side to side pass between the two centre halves. Get a long ball into the box and try and hope for the best. Like there was no nothing. And Clement sat and watched that for 90 minutes and still couldn't muster up an answer, a, a even N to get at Kilmarnock. And Kilmarnock haven't been great this season either. Like they've been kind of shaky. They've obviously they're
Mm.
good at home. They're difficult to beat, but
There's
there's
but
no
there's a
reason why
difference.
we shouldn't be able to beat them. Like
I
that's the
know, but
annoying thing.
as I say, there's a difference. Do you know what? Because they're a team, and as I say, they've got a manager who knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
That's
and
the
that's
way.
it.
Obviously, they've had some tough for them getting used to Europe and whatever kind of stuff. It's obviously great to see other teams for the league get into Europe. But I just as I say, they played as a team. They were all out there for each other. Whereas we've just got a group of individuals. That's it. We've got a manager who doesn't know what he's doing. He knows. I think he knows he's lost the dressing room. I think he's known he's lost the dressing room for a while now. I mean, I don't understand how anybody can listen to the press conferences because it's the same all the time. I genuinely can't listen to him talk now. And when it gets to that stage for me, that's as I say, that's when you know it is time. It's just time to go, mate. And
Aye.
especially if we can't beat a second stand team here for what? Where are these lot for? What, Romania?
Romania, aye.
I mean, come on, really? Should this should be a game where it should be 4 or 5 if we're all honest with ourselves.
Well, that's
Then
the
it,
thing. We're now desperate and hoping for a reaction, and something we haven't even really spoke about because of how annoyed we are with our own team. That was an opportunity to claw back points in the title race there as well. That was a chance to go and at least put yourself up there as a contender to go and fight for something. But again, we were offered the opportunity and we didn't take it, and
it's
that's became
it's
all
the
too
same.
common.
It's the same as you just said there. It's the same all the time with that. There's a chance for us to do something, we just don't take it. And then you think about the game at the weekend. You know what that's going to be, how tough that's going to be, obviously. Um, so I don't understand. I mean, I think if they should just go to the pubs, really. I know we already do, but I think we should just be in there 24/7 really right now.
I know it feels like it. It feels like it, but aye, things. who knows when they're going to get better? Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if we win the game on Thursday or Sunday? I mean, we're going to be at home against a really stubborn St Mirren side again, so they'll fancy their chances coming to Ibrox. That's the thing.
Any team of
Nobody's going to be scared of playing us. Like we're just a team that's there. Like we don't even have the identity Rangers anymore, so it's just a really sad state of affairs to be in. And again, we're calling for a manager to be sacked, and alongside a lot of the other support, they've now thought the same things as well. So, aye, it feels like it's only going one direction, to be honest with you. And aye, it ends with Philippe Clement probably being sacked in like the next month. So we'll see how it goes. But aye, if you did enjoy the podcast, I don't know how you can enjoy this, but at the moment, if you have obviously any thoughts, stick it in the comments section. We'll get back to you there, and we'll be back with another episode next week. That'll be covering the Europa League game, the St Mirren game, and then obviously looking forward to that Aberdeen game midweek in Pittodrie. So, we'll see you then.